welcome in, welcome in. Mud, what's going on, buddy? Outside of Paris. Madison, what's going on? Tattoo, how's your morning going? Robert, what's going on, buddy? See the grandstands across the street. They were doing a lot more work in there today. Welcome in, chatters. We got 70. Had to take off my jacket. Kristen, what's going on? Got a nice crowd up on the strip right now. A lot more busy than it was earlier. But this is when everybody starts to get out. So we're going to take a walk down to the South Strip. You can see they're doing some of the barricades over there outside of Bellagio, blocking off the strip entrance. So they'll leave a couple lanes open over there. Let me zoom in a little bit and you can see.
Welcome to Vegas. Where you guys from? You guys married?
So where do you guys want to go? What do you want to see this morning?
Have you guys ever been there? Okay, let me out 2 seconds. All right, yeah.
Kristen's got 26 more days and for the National Final Rodeos. We'll keep walking. Let's pay attention to walking for a minute. Try not to get too much sun in your eyes. The person in front of us is getting warm too. I had to take off my a light track jacket on. I know, like these cars that turn and there's 100 pedestrians walking across the street. What do they expect us to do? Yeah, time does fly when you're on your way waiting for a trip. That month will go by real fast. Now I like walking down the east side of the strip in the morning because it's a lot more shade. Then let me know, guys, if it's I'm trying to track where we have glitches. It was kind of glitchy over here the other morning.
Happy birthday. Thank you.
Mommy Main, what's going on? Outside Miracle Mile, Planet Hollywood right now. I guess we'll head south, right? We're walking south already, so if you guys have anywhere in particular we want to check out? Figure what's it like? It's a little after 10, probably do like an hour and a half or so of walking. We already had a nice walk this morning. Let's see what kind of steps are we at right now? We're just under 10,000 steps from the other stream. Just starting this one with 9,400 roughly. For a friend getting paid to come out this weekend and clean a house down here. Well, welcome in, Mommy Maine. Welcome in. Welcome to the Chatters. That is the Neon City Walker community. We call you guys the Chatters. Me and Jay are the Walkers. We walk, you talk. We like to be as interactive as we can in here. So we had a pretty good channel. We have a pretty good channel over on TikTok. And just trying to branch out a little bit from over there, do the live streams, some longer form content that people will appreciate. So we like to show you guys like good deals, happy hours, things like that. We don't do very much in the way of you know, like food reviews and things like that, you know. We're more of a what's the vibe type of thing. So we lived here for about 6 years. It'll be it's like 5.5 years. We lived out here in the late 90s also, and then moved back east and traveled to Vegas several times a year in between, but always wanted to move back. Checking in from Maryland, nice. So we kind of just started. We started our TikTok channel like in like 2023, but then just kind of let it fall to the side. It was like, eh. And then around the time the Mirage volcano last year was shutting down, we got access to live stream on TikTok. So we started doing some live streaming on TikTok, showing the last few shows of the Mirage, and it kind of grew from there. It was like not something we really planned on doing. Some people started asking us some questions, and you know, we were giving answers, and you know, people started following us, and more people started following us, and then that was in July, and then by December we had hit our 10,000 followers, and now we're sitting up there around 28,000 followers over there. And you know, we kind of pride ourselves on having a really great chat. I think it's probably the best chat on TikTok. Everybody there is super knowledgeable. We don't put up with any nonsense. We don't talk religion. We don't talk politics. We talk positive vibes about Vegas. I mean, sometimes politics gets involved in what's going on in Vegas, but we don't make that a mainstay of what we talk about, because it never ends well. Bestest chat ever, Mud. Exactly. We have some amazing mods that keep us on track. Sometimes I get distracted looking at things, and the chat just keeps moving because everybody there is giving their input. We appreciate input from people, and you know, a lot of people have become friends through our chats and stuff, and share information. You know, we're always encouraging that. So this area right here, this is the end of the F1 track. So right there at Harmon, I mean, I don't know if you guys wanted to walk around and check out some of the F1 track, we could do that. But this area here is like an overshoot. So if the cars are coming down the strip, they're gonna hit like 250 miles an hour between Venetian and Bellagio. And then they gotta make this left-hand turn. Let's walk down, right? They gotta make this left-hand turn on the Harmon. Well, if they're going too fast and they can't make that turn, there's an offshoot where they can slow down, make a U-turn, and head back up to Harmon. That ends at around, pretty much around the entrance to Aria. But if we walk down here, this is the actual F1 track. over to the left here. This is where the cars will be going down. This black fencing is to keep pedestrians several feet away from the track. It has these black tarps that they'll drop down to obstruct your view. But that fence behind there, that is in case there's a crash or something, and that'll keep the debris on the track area, or hopefully keep the debris on the track area. They should definitely be having a cleaning crew. There's a lot of trash back on this side. So, and then this is pretty neat. They have these little cutouts in the fence in case something happens and the crew needs to jump through the fence. They can get through real easy. And then of course up above us are the lights. It's one continuous string of lights that run the whole circuit for F1. 224. I thought 250 was the or was it 228? Is that the record? 228? Why am I saying 250? Maybe that's because I hit 250 when I was doing my simulator test. I hit 250 and then I crashed. So you guys can check that video out, me driving the simulator, and see exactly why I will not be an official driver in the F1. Yeah, 224, 250. I mean, splitting hairs there, yes. Yeah, and then I hit the wall. I mean, but yo, them simulators, they are so fun. You can go check one out in Aria. Also at the F1, the Grand Prix up here. That's where I guess the Vegas headquarters are. That's shut down to the public right now, but when that's open, definitely a spot you should check out. Definitely a spot you should check out. Yeah, that is insanely fast. That is insanely fast. They have all these power generators, I guess, power to lights and all that stuff. Murakami just put up a link for Aroma Retail. If you guys have a favorite scent of a resort or the shops at Crystals, Aroma Retail is where you can get those scents. We have some affiliate links there and a promo code for 20% off. So check that out. That is in our bio, I believe. How long F1 has been in town? So this is the third year. They start setting up September. First week of September 2nd, they started setting up this year. So this will be the third year. They got some grandstands down there. They got some bridges that go over. All right, where do you guys want to head back to the strip? We can walk down. I don't know. I kind of let the chat kind of guide our walks. If you guys want to continue walking the F1 circuit, I'll walk the F1 circuit. If you just want to head back to the strip and see what's happening on the strip, we can walk there. But where that white car is right now, that is actually part of the F1 track. So you can drive it, you know. I drive it every day, parts of it. A lot of traffic. It's really disrupted the traffic. Hello, Kitty. Yeah, we could maybe head down that way. Maybe grab some coffee. Since I had that bad coffee experience at the coffee beanery this morning. Carol, welcome in, welcome in. Hopefully you'll join the Neon City Walker Chatters. That is the name of our community here. Hope you enjoy. Where's the best coffee shop? So, I love coffee. There's two places that I go all the time. If I'm on the south end of the strip, I go to the Hello Kitty Cafe outside of New York. And if I'm in the Center Strip area, I'll usually take a walk to the Link Promenade and go to Sweet Sin, which is a coffee and pastry dessert shop. They have delicious coffee also. They're like my two favorite coffees that I normally go to. Another really great coffee spot, it's kind of hidden, is it's called Dandelion Chocolates. It's a small chocolate store in the Venetian by the lobby, and they have some of the best mocha on the Strip. Venetian has a couple really good coffee shops in there actually. But those I would say are probably like my three favorite. Now, I also like cheap coffee. So sometimes I'll start in the morning, it'll be 6 o'clock, I'll start a live stream. And the only place to get my coffee is McDonald's, which the McDonald's right by Casino Royale, it's regular McDonald's prices. I think it's like $2.89 or something for a large coffee. Or if it's later in the day and I just want a quick, cheap cup of coffee, In-N-Out has it's like $1.50-ish for their coffee. So if you're looking for cheap coffee, they're the two cheapest spots that I have found on the Strip for coffee. Now, I try to stay out of Caesar's properties to get my coffee because they're usually really expensive. All the coffee places in Caesar's are expensive. Definitely trying the Hello Kitty. Awesome. If I had to pick one restaurant on the Strip that's a must try, me and Jay, for those that don't know, Jay is my wonderful wife. She usually joins me on nighttime streams and does most of the content for our TikTok. I do most of the content for over here on YouTube. But we love Beauty and Exes I know I say that wrong all the time, in Cosmo. It's a speakeasy, 3rd floor, look for the pawn shop. That is, I would say that's a definite must try. They have a great happy hour and some great, I love the little prime rib bites. That is like kind of my favorite. That's one of my favorites. Happy hours. Me and Jay do a lot of happy hours. Now Cosmo, so you can start doing happy hours in Cosmo at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and go from restaurant bar to restaurant bar all the way up until about 7 p.m. So if you want to get some day drinking on or some cheap pre-gaming, that is a definitely good option. You could do 5 hours worth of happy hours just inside Cosmo. This is the Boulevard. They got some really good stores here. There's the ABC store. That's a good ABC store. 2 for $3 Woodard right there. The Pure Life, right? 2 for $3. So I don't want to hear people complaining about $8, $12, $26 Wooders. All you need to do is go to the ABC store, Walgreens, CVS, and you can get Woodard for a regular price. You know, like grab a few bottles to take back to the room so you're not, you know, waking up in the middle of the night thirsty after drinking all night. That happens. And then you're going to end up spending the $20 for that mini bar Woodard. Definitely a lot of information out there on all the different social medias on how to save money when you're on the Strip. That a lot of times when you see people saying that they spent X amount of money, this much, you know, on a Woodard or things like that, it's like, man, just do a little research before you travel. Everyone should. I mean, if you're coming to Vegas for the first time, you could really get taken advantage of not knowing all the little tips and tricks. That's why we have YouTubes and TikToks and all the different social medias where people give all their little tips and tricks. And there's a lot of content creator, a lot of good content out there. So, should be easy to do. They're the Veer towers. A lot of people ask what those towers are, the ones with the yellow windows. That's residential, actually. That's not part of ARIA. They're called the Veer towers. That's the, there's an east and a west tower there. You just saw your sister and brother in a video. Awesome. Yeah, I do day walks on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. They're my days off. So I usually do day walks on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and night walks different nights of the week, depending on what our schedule is. We don't have like a set schedule. We're not full-time content creators. Me and Jay, we both have jobs and do this as like fun and sometimes a little bit of extra hustle money if we make it. But yeah, so those two towers right there, I would love to live in one of those towers. The only problem is it doesn't have an outdoor space except for the roof. The roof has swimming pools and barbecue pits, but you don't have like a balcony. So when me and Jay, we thought about it, and that's definitely in our list of places we would want to retire to. But we might look at something on the strip or around the strip that has a balcony. But the views here, you got Aria, Cosmo, the Waldorf and Park MGM, beautiful views. I work at one of these big places up here. I don't say where I work. I work in the maintenance department in one of these hotel resorts up here. How you doing? That's the pizza place that's going to open up here. Let's see if I can get, there we go. That's going to be sourdough pizza. That's not open yet. We're waiting on that to open because I've never had sourdough pizza. Has anyone had sourdough pizza? So what brought us out here? So our plan was always, like, when we first moved back east, our plan was to, she was going to finish school, I was going to do my apprenticeship, and then we were going to move back. But the economy kind of prevented it, and having kids kind of prevented it for years. And then in late 2019, we were like, all right, 5 years. And then Jay went out to breakfast one morning with a good friend of hers who had just sold a property in Philadelphia, right by us. It was a dirt lot. She got a decent amount of money. The developer that bought her lot was looking for other places. So we just kind of said, hey, you know what? Let's see what he would give us for our house. And I had a pretty high number, and he wasn't too far off. And we said, shit, take it. And we moved out here. I know, the damn kids, man. So we moved out here and sold our house. As soon as we signed the paperwork and made the deal on the house, about a month later, the world shut down because of COVID. And we moved out here in the middle of COVID. No jobs, no nothing. And but it's been pretty damn amazing for us. So this is quite the view up here too. So yeah, the first time I ever saw the inside of my house in person live was June 15th, 2020, when I got the keys off my father-in-law, who got the keys off the guy I bought it off of. Everything else was through pictures or like a FaceTime phone call. I never saw it because we were coming out here. I had some job interviews lined up. We were going to look at a bunch of houses, and then when the world shut down, all the job interviews went away. And all the houses that we had appointments for, they were shut down. They couldn't show houses. So we found our house actually on Craigslist for sale by owner, and it was on the list that we were going to go see with the realtors. So we knew it was legit, and just so happened that the guy who owned the house, he owned it outright, and he did one of those owner will carry mortgages, they call it, where he acted like the bank. We paid a third party to disperse the funds to him. We it worked out good for us. So everything lined up. So this is called the Overlook, right? This is a new spot up here on top of the Boulevard Mall, not Boulevard Mall, the Boulevard. And this looks absolutely amazing at night. If you come up here, you can see all the way down to Mandalay. And on the other side of this sign, where that in and out is, when that area is opened up, you will be able to see all the way up the strip, all the way to the bend where the Hard Rock is being built. Yeah, it kind of seems like we were meant to be out here, Kristen. Henderson's a beautiful area. We're up in the northwest area. Henderson's really, really nice. A lot of my one son's friends live down around Henderson, so we're down there quite a bit. Henderson is actually an area that we were looking at in the beginning, but Jay's aunt lived out in Vegas, in Henderson, for years, and she was a professional gambler, and her one complaint was that Henderson was a little bit too far from her favorite casinos, and but she loved the area so much, and her husband loved it out there, and that's why they moved out that way. Can I see the strip from my house? I can see the Strat from my house, and I can see downtown somewhat from my house. If we were a little bit higher in elevation, yes. If you go about half a mile from my house, you can see downtown really well, and you can see parts of the top of like Fontainebleau, Resorts World, the taller properties. Southwest is really nice, like Mountain's Edge down that area. Along Blue Diamond, south of Blue Diamond is some of my favorite areas. I forget the name of the properties down that way, communities, but there are some really nice communities that end, right? And then you're in the desert. You walk across the road and you could walk for miles and miles and hundreds of miles into the desert. So down that area is beautiful. The Southwest is kind of more expensive. Summerlin is pretty expensive. The deals are out there to be found. There's not tons of really bad areas to live in Vegas. You know, a lot of people say stay away from the east side, but there's a lot of really nice old communities on the east side that are, you know, revamping, and, you know, if I were to move, I would love to move to like the Hunt Ridge section. There's some really great housing back in that area. Yeah, the where Vegas end aerials are crazy, but it's also crazy. So sometimes I take you guys up to see the sunset up by Tool Springs, and that is like one of those areas where Vegas just ends. I think it's called like Moccasin Road or something, and Durango, and there's houses, developments, a couple horse farms, and then you have Moccasin Road, and then the desert. Yeah, Huntridge is kind of right off of like Desert Inn, east side of town, maybe like a mile or two off the strip. Some of the areas around it are a little bit rougher, but it's like a really nice little section of housing in there. And then, I mean, I tell people, if you're going to move to Vegas or wherever you're going to move, and it's not a city that you already live in and have a good idea of, the best thing to do is come out here for a week, rent a car, go look at some areas, right? Go there in the morning around the time it would be that you would leave for work. Go there in the afternoon, you know, and then go there at night. Drive around at night, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Take a ride around and see if it's an area that you would feel comfortable walking around or getting out of your car that time of night, right? A lot of times people, they fall in love with an area, but then they don't realize that it's not that great of an area. It just looks really nice during the day. And then I say that because that is an experience that we had when we moved out here in '97. We moved to an intersection called Twain and Swenson into apartments that were called the Apple Apartments back then. Now they're called the Tides at Twain. And it actually looked like a really nice neighborhood. During the day, had a nice shopping center across from us, a 7-Eleven, little convenience store. It was pretty nice. But we didn't check it out at night. And the first night we moved in was very awakening to us that it was not a very good neighborhood. And yeah, so ever since then, whenever we were going to move, even when we moved to our house in Philly, I was familiar with the neighborhood, but and it was kind of sketch at the time. It was an area in Philly called Fishtown. And yes, the night times are telling story. But me and Jay, we looked at like what was going on with Philly real estate. And one of the things that was going on with Philly real estate was there was this area called Northern Liberties, and that was exploding. People were buying the houses, gentrifying them, you know, redoing, buying shells, and that whole area was pretty much being built up, and we were kind of priced out of it. So we went to the neighborhood that was right next door to it, an area called Fishtown. And when we bought our house, all our friends and families were like, "You are buying a house in Fishtown? Are you guys out of your mind? You know, that neighborhood, there's, you know, it's drugs and violence and whatever." And we're like, "No, it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up." And that was in 2001. By like 2005, that area was really starting to pick up, and we made, you know, we made money every single year that we lived there on our property. And eventually, almost 20 years later, we were able to sell our house for like almost 5 times what we bought it for, and you know, move out here. Well, you can kind of sometimes, like, so Fishtown was an area of Philadelphia that I kind of grew up and knew a lot of people that lived in that area. I didn't live too far from it. I didn't grow up in a really nice area in Philly. So I was never really worried so much about some of the sketchiness that other people get worried about. So it was a little bit more of a culture shock for Jay. She grew up in a nicer neighborhood in Philadelphia, and we always joked that she went slumming when we started dating. So but a lot of, I mean, you guys know, areas, they change, they get good, they get bad, they, you know. Now that area in Fishtown that we lived in Philadelphia, there's like 750,000 million-dollar homes and condos, but there's a huge homeless population in that area, and a lot of people that are addicted to things in that area, because it's not too far from the L. So we got out of there just in time, just as our boys were starting to hit their teenage years and get impressionable with that stuff. Pretty much, Mud. So if you look up Kensington on like YouTube, Kensington in Philadelphia, you'll see some videos that will open your eyes to the heroin endemic that goes on in Philadelphia. And that was only about 1.5 miles from our house. Our kids range in age now from 15 to 22. Yeah, that's not too far off from the ages our 3 boys were when we moved out here. So one was 14, one was 12, and one was like 10 when we moved out here. And they thrive out here. There's a lot of cool stuff out here for the kids. They used to spend a lot of time at Sky Zone. That's the trampoline park. A lot of kids go there on the weekends. The downtown Summerlin Mall is pretty popular with kids. In the summertime, they got Wet and Wild, the Water Park. So that's where a lot of our kids spend their time during the summer and stuff when they're not working. Now, my 19 and 17-year-old, they work a lot. They have a lot of they have a really good work ethic. So, I mean, the schools out here aren't the best schools, but that didn't bother us because we had homeschooled our kids their entire life anyway. So, you know, if schools are important, there are some really good private Catholic schools out here that you can pay for. And if your kids are good at sports, especially football, we have some of the, I think they're the top ranked football team. They were the top ranked football team this year. So in the nation. So, you know, there are some really good sports schools out here too if your kids are good at sports. So here's the Hello Kitty. We like to think that we raised them well. It's mostly Jay. Jay did a great job raising them. So we'll go and get our coffee. Let's check out the menu. I may go with something a little different today. No, who am I kidding? I'm going to stick with my cafe mocha. They got all the cool merchandise too. Hello, good morning. Can I get the cafe mocha hot?
Hot mocha?
Yeah. Do I need to
Was
show
the
you
regular milk okay for that one today?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. My local ID.
You got it. That'll be $6.91. Were you going to need a copy of the receipt this morning?
Yes. Yeah, please.
Here I have 9 cents back for you. With $13 for your change with your receipt.
Great, thank you.
And then we'll pull that out for you the next Monday, okay?
All right, thank you.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you get a locals discount here. Some places give it, some places don't. How much is the locals discount here? Neighbor and MGM discount, 15% off. So, and I think that's going to be our coffee now. Great, thank you. So now we'll take our little walk back to our, we have a little spot that I like to go and sit after I get my coffee, all the way in the back here. So this area is called the Park. This is where, if you're heading to T-Mobile Arena, it is right down this way. This is where a lot of people go and pregame, tailgate for the Golden Knights, concerts, beer house here. They always have these cool signs. Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder. You really, you've never been there, so they're not going to ask if you're talking about the, if you're a local, always ask everywhere if they give a locals discount. They don't advertise it because if you don't ask, they're not going to give it to you. They make more money. So I ask everywhere. You just show your ID. Yeah, that's all. Now, a lot of times, a lot of the girls that work at Hello Kitty, they know us. Save water, drink beer. That's a bad sign for me. I don't drink, so. Yeah, ask about the military discounts also, because they're not, you know, they're not typically just going to give you a discount, you know. But if you ask, and they do, Sweetson also gives a locals discount. So we usually come down here, take a look at the Bliss statue. We come out here at night too, because this is like an awesome area at night. One of my favorite areas, because it's nice and quiet and chill, right? You know, I like the craziness that Vegas can offer you, but I also like to find these nice little spots to just go and chill out, relax, get away from it for a while. And you know, a lot of people don't even know this is back here. The Big Moons. So this is the Bliss statue. This is lit up at night. It has these little LED lights in there. It's lit up during the day, but you can't see it. So there's a little plaque here that tells us what it's about. Where's Joanna? Joanna has a thing for feet, remember? We'll have to take her there. T. Michelle, what's going on? So, Blitz Dance celebrates the strength and energy of a woman who is safe, present, whose voice is clear, whose power, purpose, and humanity shine. So this is the Bliss statue. We have a cool video, a little short, I think, on this. And then back here, over here, is the T-Mobile Arena. I don't think there's anything going on in there today. I think there's a Knights game tomorrow. But normally they'll have like chairs and stuff set up back here. There was just an event over, what was it, the Professional Bull Ride in PBR like 2 weeks ago, that this whole area was all full of vendors and everything. Thursday, okay. So you get a nice, this is right behind New York too. So we kind of just chill out, relax back here, and check it out. And I normally just kind of sit, it's a good spot to just kind of sit and chill and recharge my devices, things like that. Put you guys on the charger for a couple minutes. Oh, here's the coffee too, by the way. Cheers. It comes in this cute little cup. I got about 50 of these little stoppers that they put in the top of the cup so you don't spill your coffee. I take them home with me. I have a big collection of them. So it's really good coffee if you guys are just looking for like a nice coffee and you're down by New York, New York. And I don't have any kind of endorsement deal with them. I just really like their coffee. So I was touching on that a little bit earlier. I think you may have asked, but we just kind of when the volcano at Mirage was shutting down, that's when we got access to TikTok Live, and we started live streaming them like in July of last year. And to be honest, we were really not that good at it. I just kind of stood there and showed the volcano, and then after a couple streams, some people were asking some questions. We were giving answers, and then people started following us. And it was like, all right, cool. We live stream, once a week or so, and then it just kind of started picking up, and more and more followers, and we started doing content and getting more viewers, and then all of a sudden, like, we started getting this community of people that kept coming back and talking, and that kind of inspired us to, people that, may have not been able to get to Vegas in a couple years because of whatever, we were able to show them Vegas. And, then we it kind of got fun, like just walking and talking. And, and that's why, recently we decided like the community needed a name. So we did a poll here on YouTube and asked people in the chat on YouTube and the people on TikTok what we thought the name should be, and we got a couple good ideas, and we did a poll, and we came up with Neon City Chatters, and then I added the tagline that we walk and you talk. So you'll see if you're in here a lot, like the chat sometimes is self-sustaining, like the breakout sessions of people talking about their favorite restaurants or different events that are going on. There's a whole bunch of that that happens. And I guess it was like last month, we had some issues on TikTok, and me and Jay took a week or two off, and not so much about our day-to-day. Sometimes we'll post something, but not a whole lot of it. Most of the time we come up here and we'll do content. We'll bang out some content on a night or two up on the strip, do a short live stream, and then just post that content during the week. We actually live kind of pretty boring lives outside of walking around the strip. I mean, we have some affiliate links. We've done some. We've been invited to do some content for like different spas and things like that, and we let people know when something is sponsored. We're an affiliate, and but for the most part, if we're telling you about a happy hour or a restaurant, that's because we went there and we're telling you about our experience. We didn't get, we're not getting paid to go in and do that kind of content. Yeah, I mean, Jennifer, there is like some of the people in our chat are very, very knowledgeable. Mud, for example, Murakami, they keep us updated sometimes, and they don't even live here, but yes, I get distracted sometimes, and you guys do keep it going, and you know, sometimes I'm just like looking at, you know, something across the street catches my eye or something, and you know, nothing that's worthy of being on the camera, but you know, and then I'll look down and you guys are just chit-chatting away, you know. But like about a month ago when we had some issues over on TikTok, you know, some people in our community they were reaching out to me and Jay saying, hey, you guys all right? I was talking to this person from the chat, and you know, we haven't seen you guys for a couple days, you know. So you know, there's a lot of there's been some friendships that have been built through our chat, which was really like a really cool thing, and that's one of the things we really wanted to do, you know. And you know, I think eventually we'll probably monetize over here, which would be nice to get some paid views on our videos, but you know, but we like to try to do things that are kind of useful, you know. I try, like for example, on TikTok I have a whole playlist of where to go and get ride shares in different casinos, and I'm trying to bring that over and put a playlist together for YouTube, right? Because you know, getting a ride share sometimes is very confusing in these places. So if I can have a video and somebody looks it up and says, oh wow, that's great, you know. Because I remember what it was like in the 90s when we came out here, and there was no live streams, there was no YouTube. Like, you learned everything on the fly. And we, you know, there was times we would come out in April and, you know, come back in September and be like, oh man, I can't wait to go back to that restaurant, and we'd get there and it was shut down, you know, or, you know, and it was like, dang, you know, we planned a whole trip around something, and now we got to figure out something else to do on the fly, you know. And that's the great thing about like all the social medias today is you know, when we see things, and a lot of my videos are kind of, I want to say, a little rough, right? Like if I'm at Bellagio and they shut down the sidewalk or something, I'll do a video and post it right away without all the fancy editing, right? Because it's kind of important for stuff for the people to get out there. Yeah, I'm trying to bring a bunch of our videos over as shorts over to YouTube. Some of our evergreen content that, you know, is useful, and to expand some things into like long form content. So it's you know, we try to be very real about things, you know. There's a couple places that people ask us about, and I'll say, yeah, no, our experience may be different than your experience. But for example, Jimmy Kimmel Live, right? They had on their website happy hour. So we were going to meet one of our friends, our followers from TikTok there, and go to happy hour. When me and Jay got there a little bit early, and we said, oh yeah, you know, what time's happy hour and stuff. And the lady was like, the bartender was really rude and was like, yeah, we don't do happy hour no more. We were like, oh, it's still on the website. And I pulled the website up and showed her, and she's like, yeah, we don't do that no more. And we're like, oh, yeah, we were meeting some people here, so I guess, you know, and we just happened to say, well, we'll make some content so people don't come here. And she was like, well, what do you mean? And we're like, well, we do TikTok, and we'll just let people know that you guys don't do happy hour no more. And she was like, don't do that. Why would you do that? That's, you know, and we're like, well, why would you advertise you have a happy hour that you don't? So when people ask, and we just say, yeah, don't go there expecting a happy hour or any deals, because they don't, or ask before you go in, right? We weren't trying to put them on blast, but she got kind of really ignorant with us. Is it lagging right here, Kristen? So I have the little status bar. Oh wait, I just walked past this. I'd like to tell you guys about this too. A lot of people don't know, but it was kind of very rude of her. If she would have just said, "Oh, sorry, we just stopped it. We didn't update the website yet," we would have been like, "Oh, okay, cool. No big deal." But she took an attitude. So this is like a little replica. It was when we were walking out from behind the park. Yeah, I think right there sometimes it does drop the signal a little bit, because I'm showing like full bars on this Prism Live that I use. You can pull up an indicator that shows you. And that's I found that the other day when we were having all the issues at SEMA. I found that option, and I could see that the signal was absolutely horrible when we were at SEMA, and but I ended up getting some good video out of that. So this is the little Brooklyn Bridge, and they have live music out here. Especially on the weekends, I think right now in the fall. But during the summer, this is a pretty fun, chill spot on the Strip. It's live music. You know, it doesn't get as crazy as Fremont Street. So if you're not looking for that crazy Fremont vibe, which is super fun, but not for everyone, this is a really good option. Or the Carnival Court is a really good option. But New York, I love. This is like one of my favorite properties because there's so many spots to sit and chill outside and people watch. You know, you got that right, Robert. Even when I think when they build the streets in Brooklyn, they're just more dirty. So we have a friend that does a page on pigeons. So whenever I have a pigeon walking in front of me or see pigeons doing something a little bit silly when we're streaming, I usually take some video of that and then I clip it out and send it to them for their page. They've gotten some pretty funny stuff off of that. So if you ever see me just kind of focus on the pigeons, that's why. So here's the Hershey's chocolate store, right? Hershey's Chocolate World, right? So if you guys are on here for the first time, we do these things called Neon City Nuggets. They're just little nuggets of information about Vegas. I'm currently trying to put them all into a playlist for you guys. It's a lot of work, but our Neon City Nugget about Hershey's World is they keep it colder in there. Their air conditioning is set colder than normal places because of all the chocolate. They don't want it to melt. So when you're out here and it's 1010, which is another Neon City ism, go in there and you will cool off pretty damn quick. Yeah, I think that's what the vibe was supposed to be. So, New York, when they were building New York, they paid a lot of people from New York City to come out here and try to make it as authentic as they could. Architects, retired police people, first responders, you know, people like that. So if you've ever noticed when you're walking around in New York, you know what? We can walk through. I just had to take you guys off the gimbal. Sometimes they're a little bit strict with the gimbals going through the casinos, like MGM, Caesars. They don't want you really filming so much in there. So sometimes you just go in stealth mode, take it off the gimbal, and you're fine. So we're gonna go through here, Robert, and I'll give you some little cool information. So I think New York opened in 1997, and they had like a big ticker tape parade. And this is a wonderful spot to come check out at night too. This is the Porte Cochere. I think that's a fancy word for carport, which I can't really pronounce. That's another thing you'll learn from our channel is I say things how I kind of want to say things. I don't pronunciate things perfectly. I'm from Philadelphia, where we kind of make up words to begin with. But this area at night is one of the coolest lit up areas and really gives a New York feel with all the taxis, especially when they have the yellow taxis out here. But it's lit up underneath with the neon lights. It's absolutely beautiful. We do have some videos on that show it, but we'll come back one night and show you guys, because it's me and Jay love this little area. So, and this is where you get the taxis, and then right up here is where you would get your ride shares, is on the other side of the doors here. So I'm going to take you guys off the gimbal. It may shake for a second, but just give me a second. We'll pull over here so I'm out of the way. Put you guys down. Now, a couple weeks ago, I was in Excalibur, and we were doing something, and security came over and said something about the gimbal. They're like, it's cool if you take it off the gimbal. So I kind of just took the phone off the gimbal, and they were cool with me walking through. A lot of times they just think you're on like a FaceTime call or something. But we're gonna go in here, New York. Now, so over here, the Midtown Bar, straight in front of us, that used to be the registration area. Now the registration area is just like a small little spot, but this used to be like the grand registration area over in this area. Now the inside of New York is designed to be a little bit confusing, right? Because New York City has all these like crooked streets and alleyways and all that stuff. So they designed New York to kind of give you that walk around, you're feeling lost kind of in New York City, right? The American restaurant, open 24 hours, pretty good coffee, some great donuts, a little bit on the pricier side, but actually really good. Cinnabon's 24 hours, I believe, also a little bit cheaper on the coffee, but maybe not. But when you walk through here, you'll see that the pathways kind of, you walk up to the center bar, and then this pathway will veer to the right, veer to the left, and it's actually designed that way. And it's actually like, they put a lot of thought and effort into it, right? And the lighting in here is, kind of to remind you of like Times Square with the big Hershey sign over here. We'll go check that out. It's kind of to give you like that Times Square kind of feel. I need to get like a smaller stabilizer or something if I'm going to start doing this. Put that on my I need to get list. So now they have like the big signs. Coyote Ugly, that's an awesome bar upstairs. They have some good happy hours. Chocolate Bar, if you're ever looking for some good martinis. I don't drink, but Jay has gone there with some friends and gotten the Reese's peanut butter martinis. She said they were delicious. And this is one of the spots that I do have some good luck in, so we're gonna walk back down here towards the food court area. And the walkways are a little less pronounced than other places. The carpet is like solid all the way through. A lot of places have a different carpet for the walkways. This just has a different carpet for the like the roundabout walkway. So there's the signage that's supposed to make it look and feel like it's Times Square. Oh, this place is pretty good too. This Forneo, they had a really good happy hour, and they had like $13 pizzas. You got like a full personal pizza. Make you want to hit the slots. Well, 26 days. So now this is the food court is supposed to make you feel like you're in a neighborhood, you know, with the little pizza shops and right here's the Dual Piano Bar. We got Greenberg's Deli up here. 48th and Crepe. That is like a play on like a New York City street name. And it does look and makes it feel like you're in actual New York City. You know, with the old brick streets. Tom's Watch Bar, that's right over here. That's a great spot to watch some live sports. They always have live sports. Greenberg's Deli, right here. They have a really good breakfast special. It is a breakfast burrito it's New York style, pastrami, corned beef, Swiss cheese, and egg for $9.99, and it comes with a coffee. So you get a breakfast burrito and a coffee for $9.99. Gonzalez, this is a pretty decent Mexican spot. We've eaten here once or twice. Got some Fulton fish fry here. Broadway Burger and Grill, pretty decent burgers. Let's check the price on the menu. I haven't been there in a while. They have it. Max, thank you. Welcome in. Thanks for joining the Neon City Chatters. That is the name of our community. Trying to get a picture of the menu. Dang. So yeah, so this is like, it's like walking around a neighborhood in New York City. Now this spot, I go here sometimes for like a light breakfast. This is a little bagel place right here. Bagels are $4.95, and they got some really good desserts too. Ooh, a pumpkin cheesecake shake. Greenwich Village. Now that may be pretty good. I don't know. I'm not like huge on the pumpkin stuff. So yeah, this is all designed by design to make you feel like you're walking through New York City, you know, with the different twists and turns. So little Times Square. So what machines do you all like to play? What are your table games? Oh, that's another good thing that they have in here. So they now have $5 blackjack in here. Some of the table minimums during the day go down to as low as $5. for blackjack. I know that one is a definite. I'm not sure about the other tables though. But I do know that they don't like you filming the tables, so we'll stay away from the tables. I'll get you some of that information another time. Huff and puff. Huff and more puff. I thought you would like the happy prosperous with the Buddhas, Murakami. Tom's is a great spot, breakfast spot as well. I've never had the breakfast there. I love their nachos. Roulette is T. Michelle's game. Nice. I used to love roulette. Yeah, especially the themed hotels, right? I really miss the themed Vegas hotels. You know, I mean, I love Paris and the Luxor, Excalibur, and all that stuff. And I wish they had more, you know? What do I play? I don't gamble a whole lot, but when I do, recently I've been playing that pop craps, that crapless craps or easy craps. Two Buddhas cancel each other out. But I do like when I play like a slot machine, I usually walk around and wait until a machine says, hey, come here and play me. And then I put my money in and walk away disappointed. But, you know, Fortune Tigers, your favorite, nice. That one, I do like that one. That one has a pretty cool bonus. So here's another food court up here before you go out onto the pedestrian walkways. When we get back outside, I'm going to throw you guys back up on the gimbal and we'll steady the walk a little better. So here's the Coyote Ugly. Hours of operation, 6 p.m. to late. That is a fun bar, actually. You guys ever see the movie Coyote Ugly? Yeah, I'm usually like, tonight's my night. And then I'm like, next time. But no, and you know what, to tell you the truth, if I hit, I usually run. If I put $100 in the machine and I hit, and I'm up to like 175 or something like that, I'm like, all right, I'm done. Kong, I've never played Kong. All right, you guys are gonna go for a little ride on the gimbal remote. There we go. And we're back outside. Crossover bridge to Excalibur. Now, I've been telling people that it's still a fun time to come out here during F1. You do have other areas of the strip besides where it's affected by F1, even though that's like the main section of the strip and probably the biggest section of the strip that, you know, that most people would go to. But there's still a lot of fun stuff to do down this south end here. You know, yeah, that was a good movie. I remember when that came out. You know what, we're gonna go, oops, sorry. We're gonna go over this way. So I think if we go up these escalators over here, we can kind of get a look at the ballpark. That's looking east down Tropicana over at MGM. I gotta stop by MGM. I gotta grab some stuff. Friends of ours left something in the room, so I have to go over to Lost and Found and pick it up for them and then ship it back to them. So that's looking over where Tropicana used to be. Unfortunately, that got imploded back last October. That's been gone for a year. Hard to believe it's been a year. That was a crazy night when that got imploded. I remember I was up here with my youngest son. We were watching it and live streaming. Everything was going great until the end when they did the implosion, and then all the live streams started to freeze up. At least on TikTok, I know. And so we had thousands of people on our TikTok live watching for the implosion for hours, and then it froze. But it wasn't just ours, so I didn't feel as bad. But, you know, there was a ton of people doing live streams that night, and they froze. So we can see some of the stadium over there. Let's pop that. Just doing some foundation work still. Now there's a lot of controversy with this stadium, whether it's got the funding needed, whether it should be built at all. You know, some people think it's not needed. Why are they bringing baseball here? I mean, I love the fact that they're bringing a professional baseball team here. I love baseball. Jay and my kids love baseball. So, you know, we won't have to travel to watch baseball. As it is now, we go to Arizona, LA, San Diego, San Francisco to catch baseball games, you know. And now it'll be 25 minutes from my house. So I'm kind of happy about that. And I mean, the renderings look great. Hopefully all the financing and everything comes to play. I mean, it's Vegas. They'll find a way. Not much going on over there. I wonder. I don't even see any truck movement. But that's already a lot of money just sitting right there. All right. Anyone have suggestions on where to go next? What do you want to see? One of my favorite things to see is actually the outside of Luxor. I love the outside of Luxor with all the old, with all the statues of ancient Egypt and all. And yes, my wife Jay, you can find her over on that link there. She is a travel advisor. That car's got a flat tire. That sucks. She's a travel advisor. She can help you out with finding some good hotel deals, comparing prices, things like that. The way travel, well, it's like a travel agent. So the way it is, it's a free, right? If you're looking to take a trip, she can get that information. She doesn't get paid unless you book a trip and complete your trip. And then that's how travel agents basically get paid. There's no upfront fee to use her services. She's with Fora, which is a reputable company. And you know what? I don't know if I have my link tree attached to our bio yet, but we do have some I'll have to get that on there because we do have some other links that can help you out. Like we're affiliates for like Vegas.com and things like that. So, you know, if you click on those links, decide to go to a show or something, you know, different links may give us a commission. Some do, some don't. There's the tram. I love that tram. That tram can save you so much time, right? That tram will take you from Excalibur all the way down to Mandalay in about 2 minutes. We did a video, it's on our YouTube here, where we went from Mandalay Bay, the lobby at Mandalay Bay, to the Bellagio Conservatory and timed it. Now I sped the video up a little bit, but at different points in the video I show you where we're at and how long it took us to get there, and then the overall time. So there's 2 trams. There's an express tram and a local tram. The local tram also stops at the Luxor. The express tram goes right from Excalibur to Mandalay Bay, or Mandalay Bay to Excalibur. And it's free. Now the monorail, which is on the other side of the strip, that runs from MGM to the Sahara. That costs money. You can buy day passes, weekly passes, and I want to say it's $5 and some change for like a daily pass, but that gets you on and off, right? You get on, you get off somewhere, you get back on for a 24-hour period. So, and I think a weekly pass is around $33. Don't quote me on that. That's for the week, and you get to go on and off also as needed. Now, what's different about these properties on the south end of the strip, Excalibur and the Luxor, is they used to put parking out front on a lot of these casinos, like especially the older ones. They were set back a little bit further, and that's one of the reasons you don't, and there's nothing else down here, so that's one of the reasons that you really never see people walking down this end, right? But if you can look back here, I'll zoom in, see where it says Titanic right underneath the tracks there. That is a walkway. That's a bridge that connects Excalibur and Luxor, and then there's another bridge that connects Luxor to Mandalay. So so that you'll see, like sometimes when we do live streams and we walk through there, you'll see that there's tons of people that go to the conventions down at Mandalay, because there are tons of conventions at Mandalay. Somebody asked, is there a tram from Park MGM to Fremont Street? No, there is not a tram that runs from Park MGM to Fremont. I would probably suggest taking like a ride share or something. You can take the Deuce, but right now with all the F1 traffic, the Deuce is taking forever and gets really, really crowded. You can take the Deuce to like the Strat, and then the Strat has a I think it's called the Downtown Loop. It's a bus that'll take you from the Strat to Fremont, and that's free. So, but no, there's no easy way to get to Fremont Street from Park MGM. So we'll wait. Go look at some of this outside statues and start heading back, because I got a pretty busy day ahead of me. Blue Man Group, that's an amazing show for all ages, right? It's super fun. That's an all ages type of show. You can, if you're out here with teenagers or younger kids, like that's a real, there we go. I didn't want to zoom out. That's a really good show to take them to. I had a lot of fun at it. We took our kids there. They had fun. Totally age appropriate. A lot of shows out here are not so age appropriate. Can't be taking your teenagers to fantasy or one of them burlesque shows, that's for sure. Joe, no problem. We try to answer as many questions and that come across our feed. I think that's one of the key differences with a lot that we do. We really love to interact and answer the questions for people that are taking the time to watch us. That's the least that we can do. Now, two of my favorite shows are actually in Luxor. Carrot Top, I think Carrot Top's comedic genius. I love his show. Definitely not a show to go to if you are easily offended. Is it worth seeing Blue Man Group? I would say yes. It seems like other people in here would say yes. Now, you know, if you didn't like it, if you go and see it and don't like it, don't come back yelling at us, because, you know, everybody has different opinions on the different shows. But you know, some people really do not like Carrot Top. I think he's absolutely hilarious. We've probably seen him about 4 times in the past 6 months. And then Fantasy, if you guys like a little bit more of an adult show, that's like one of those topless reviews. That's a fun show. Me and Jay have gone to see that a few times. So here's the cool stuff that a lot of people don't even know exists here. Come down outside the Luxor, get your picture taken, tell everybody you were in Egypt. There's the Great Pyramid of Vegas in the back. HyperX, that's another great thing, that sports arena up there. It's a esports entertainment complex inside of Luxor here. Great if you have kids that are into like esports, e-gaming, that kind of stuff. Sit them down in there for a couple hours. They do tournaments. Our kids do it. They did it a lot more when they were younger, but they're not really that much into gaming anymore, but they were when they were a little bit younger. And but you have all these statues out here. Now, the night of the Tropicana implosion, my son sat right on the end here and watched was sitting on the statues. But yeah, so you can walk up through these things. I'm not even sure what these are called. Does anyone know what these are called? It's like a goat with like a pharaoh underneath it. But there's the Sphinx. That's actually bigger than the real Sphinx. Statues, yeah. Well, I'll take that as an answer, James. You're not lying. Then we have this obelisk. I believe I said that right, with the sun in the background. Sorry about that. There's a little tunnel you can walk through. I don't even know why it's a tunnel, but plenty of sidewalk space down here. And then inside the Luxor is a lot of great stuff. They got the bodies exhibit, Titanic exhibit, a lot of cool stuff in there. We'll save that for another day. Like I said, I'm running a little short on time today, but I'll be out tomorrow too, tomorrow morning. I usually, what I do a lot of times is I'll start on TikTok, do about an hour or so on TikTok, and then I come over here and spend like, 2 hours or so. And then I go home and do what I got to do. And then there's some more of those statues over here. And this is Mud's favorite spot. I love Mud. Mud always comes on as we're on here. It's almost like it rings his ears that he knows. There it is, Mud. The pyramid. Now, a lot of people talk crap about the Luxor. Yeah, it's an older hotel. It doesn't have all the fancy amenities as everywhere else, but it's cheap, very budget friendly. The pyramid rooms definitely need some updating. 100% agree. But the tower rooms are pretty nice. Tomorrow morning, I'm probably going to be live on TikTok around 6 a.m. Vegas time for like an hour or two, and then probably I'll be on until about 9 o'clock. From 6 to 9, but I'll probably do like an hour there and then from 6 to 7 there, and then from 7 to like 9 on YouTube. And then tomorrow night is usually a night that me and Jay go back out and live stream and do content together. Joe, yes, the baseball stadium's right over there where you see the cranes. That's where the Las Vegas A's will be playing. That'll be pretty cool, though. Just think, if you got a south-facing room at MGM Grand, you'll be looking at the baseball stadium. I think it does have some kind of like semi-open air roof. It's not like a fully enclosed dome, so I don't think you'll be able to actually see the baseball game in there from MGM. But it'll be cool looking over. And I think there's supposed to be 3 Bally's towers that are being built. But like I said earlier, you know, there's been a lot being said about it not having the financing. So we'll see what happens, you know. Right now it's just kind of a hole in the ground, and some foundation work for the stadium is being built. It's really hard to get a good view of. There's like a 12-foot high wall around it. So, and nowhere to really climb up and stand. I can usually climb up and stand and show you guys the lay down area at the Hard Rock. I've only gotten yelled at once for standing on the barrier there, but is that what it is, Mud? The baseball stadium has the funding. It's the hotels and casino that don't. I mean, listen, I'll be happy with just having the baseball stadium for now, you know. And then if Bally's can't get their act together, then oh well, you know. Mud, that's one of those news stories that change like constantly. But we got to find out what the name of these type of statues are. Yeah. No, maybe next time me and Jay are down here, I'll let her hold the camera and I can get up there and wave to you all. I don't want to set the... We'll do some touristy things. I think I did it on a live once before. One of the other early morning lives. I got up on the statue, waved to y'all. Wait. Man, we could have got on that tram, I think. That's what I should have did. I should have took the tram. Well, I'm trying to get the steps in today. Where are we at on step-wise? 15,000 steps we're on. We got 8,000 steps on this live so far. We had 9,000 on the first live, which I don't understand. Well, you know what? I did walk a little bit while I was charging in between lives, so about 20 minutes. I don't typically have a step goal. Normally on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I'll hit around 30,000. That's usually because we come out during the day and do around 20, and then we'll come back out later that night and do like another 10 to 15. But during the week, I usually get between 20 and 30,000 steps on a day that I live stream, because on a work day, I get about 9 to 12,000 at work, and then another, who knows, if I live stream. And that's why I can't put any weight on. I've been trying to bulk up a little bit, but I can't get enough calories. Maybe I should hit the gym, start lifting weights or something. I ain't done that in all 50 years of my life. Probably shouldn't be doing it now. But I could walk for days. Like, I very rarely get just like tired while I'm walking. Now, as soon as I get done walking and I get home and I start to relax a little bit, then I get really tired. So I'm trying to get home, maybe sneak a nap in before I do some yard work today. Yeah, definitely, James. Listen, send me about 20 pounds, man. With all the walking I do, I've been holding steady for probably the past 2 or 3 years at like around like 160, 165. When we moved out here, I was like 175, and just with like having a little bit more of a healthy lifestyle out here, and not eating cheesesteaks and hoagies every single day for lunch and dinner, and you know, I kind of you know, dropped some pounds with that, you know. Mud's got the dad gut, yeah. Why ain't I at work? Well, because I have days off like everybody. Not everybody has a traditional work week of Monday through Friday, especially when you live in a town like Vegas, which is a 24-hour, 365 days a year. People tend to rotate their days off. My days off are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But, you know, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I was talking about this the other day, I think are the best 2 days of the week to have off from work. Go Birds, that's right. Gonna beat the Lions next week, right? Done with that coffee. That's got to be my last coffee until tonight. So nope. Murakami says nope, not beating the Lions. We'll see. Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday, right? My favorite days off of work, because so let's break the week down, right? I go back to work, my Monday is Thursday, right? Now all the bosses are trying to get their schedule together for the weekend, have that all ready to go on Friday, all that stuff, right? So Friday rolls around, all the bosses are worried about what they're going to do all weekend, right? So they're really not paying that much attention. Just as long as you're getting some work done, right? They're happy. Saturday and Sunday, usually the big bosses are all off. You just have like a manager around. They're usually pretty chill, you know, don't give them no problems. You ain't got no problems, right? Saturday and Sunday, right? And then Monday comes around. Now all the regular bosses are trying to figure out what happened over the weekend, because this guy forgot to send in a report about what happened Friday night. This guy forgot to send in his his Saturday report. So they're trying to figure out what happened over the weekend, all day Monday. Meetings, oh, what are we going to do this week for work, right? And then they figure out what they're going to do. And usually that means the work starts on Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh, we got this to do on Tuesday, that to do on Wednesday. And all that stuff starts to wrap up on Thursday and Friday, which are my days back to work. So Tuesday and Wednesday usually have the most workload. And I'm off, walking around the strip enjoying it with you guys. So that's why I enjoy my Tuesdays and Wednesdays off. And when I got hired, they were like, all right, you can have Tuesday and Wednesday off or Sunday and Monday. And I was like, Tuesday, Wednesday. And they were like, really? And I was like, yep. And I said, yeah, I just like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Plus, if we want to go on vacation, go out of town, usually things are not as crowded Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and they're usually a little bit cheaper, right? So hotel rooms are usually a little cheaper midweek. You know, things like that are usually cheaper midweek. So, you know, you get to experience more when you do go away, not waiting on the big lines, right? If you know, that's why I think midweek trips to Vegas are much better than the weekends. Unless you want to be out here for the big crowds and stuff, and that's your thing. But if you want to come out here and really explore, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are the best days. Little Bubby, it's lagging. I think it was lagging around this area earlier. Yeah, that is a pretty cool roller coaster. It's actually smoothed out a little bit, it feels like. Ebros, okay. Andro-Sphinx statues. That is, thank you, Robert, for that information. Andro-Sphinx statues. Thank you for looking that up. Saves me a couple minutes later. Yes, retirement is much better, but I still got a few years for that. And if they keep changing Social Security age, I don't think I'll ever retire, you know. Whatever happened to the days you just worked 30 years or 35 years and you're done, right? I mean, I started my apprenticeship in the Carpenters Union when I was 22 years old. And, you know, I'll probably have to work until I'm like in my early 60s, you know. It is what it is. Definitely lagging. Okay. Is it lagging for anyone else? So I'm showing still a good signal connection on my app here. Perfect on this end, not for Jennifer, no for Tattoo. Okay. It's weird. Sometimes, you know, it's weird because like sometimes like we'll be sitting at home and we'll be streaming on two different devices the same show or something, and I'll have a horrible connection and Jay will have a great connection. So Nine Fine Irishmen opened up their patio again. That was closed down for most of the summer. They remodeled out there. That's another thing that I don't do that some streamers do, is I don't like when people are sitting out at a restaurant and it's like they're just chilling. It's, you know, brunch time. I don't really like showing the restaurant close up, like walking past and sticking my camera in people's faces. You know, I'll turn around when we get like over here. You're having some issues also. Like, I'll turn around from over here because then it's like you guys get a better view of the patio. You can see it's packed, and I'm not really intruding on anybody's breakfast or lunch. So have we been to Gillies in Treasure Island? We're not the biggest country fans. So, you know, it looks like it's a really cool atmosphere in there. The menu looks pretty good. But no, we have never really hung out at Gillies. Murakami, it must be all the snow that you guys got. You guys aren't all in the same area, right? I mean, Murakami's up in Illinois. As we all do, James, as we all do. We'd love to not have issues, but maybe we'll explore that side tomorrow. M&M's World, Coca-Cola, maybe go in, do a walkthrough there. We'll see. It cleared up past the non-New York. Yeah, I don't think MGM's gonna do that, Mud. Just freezing up in Massachusetts, Joe, man. Yeah, I don't miss the East Coast for that reason. We got Maryland, good for Mommy Maine. So, you know, maybe we should tell everybody about that. So that area underneath the Statue of Liberty at New York, that area used to be filled up with water, right? That was a water feature, made the Statue of Liberty look like it was authentic on the island. Well, you know, MGM has gotten rid of all their water features for the most part, right? So we came up with an idea one day in our stream to that New York should put a little miniature mini golf at the base of the Statue of Liberty. And we tried to tag MGM, New York in some videos. I think I may have even sent them an email. Hey, I got this great idea. And never heard back from them. So I don't think that's going to happen. We got Minnesota. Nice. Yes, Italy's one of my favorite sandwiches are in Italy. That's one of our go-to spots for coffee too. If Hello Kitty isn't open, so that's one of our go-tos. They just redid the front. They just redid the front entrance here of Italy. They used to have turnstiles. Remember the turnstiles that were there? The revolving doors? But people kept pushing them. People like Mud. Mud's a door pusher. And they took them out and put them with regular doors a couple of months ago. So that's a little ongoing joke we got here. It really drives me crazy when I see people push those revolving doors that revolve automatically. Like this door over here, they still have this one. This door turns automatically. Right, let's just go take a walk through it. Right? I want to show you guys. This door turns automatically and there's a big ass sign on it that says do not push. Right? But I don't know how many times I've been in one of these doors and somebody pushes the door. Now, the door just automatically stops when you push it, right? So I'll be live streaming and somebody will push the door and I'll walk into the door and it just drives me nuts. Mud, I will never get in one of them turning doors with you because I know you're going to push it. Yes, people still pushing. It drives me nuts. So they took those doors out on the other side. I don't know if that's the reason why, but I like to say it's the reason why. The people that pushed the door ruined it for everybody else. Joe, you're coming out on the 13th. Park is where you're getting the rooms. Yes, Park is great. I love Park MGM. Non-smoking. I'm a smoker, but I do love non-smoking areas. I do not like the smell of cigarettes. I actually don't like cigarettes anymore, but, you know, can't take all the vices out of my life. I will, though. I will. Now, yeah, so was it last night or a couple nights ago at Bellagio when the people were stuck in the door because they were pushing? And people are like, stop pushing. And they're pushing to try to make it move. It was like, it was hilarious. I don't know if I was live streaming when that happened or not, but yeah. So we were over there earlier. That's the overlook there. That's where we were standing up on the roof. That is the new boulevard. They just built that. That's where that Hawaiian thing, marketplace was. Now this place here, this I Heart Daiquiri, they actually have a pizza deal, and the pizza's not that great, but it's good hangover food. I may not drink anymore, but I remember what hangover food was, and they have an actual, like, it's like $7.99 for like a personal pizza and a soda. It's not that bad of a deal. Definitely will soak up the juices. The wife's new kids on the block fan. She's gonna watch them. Nice. Jay just went to Motley Crue there not too long ago. You definitely cannot. You definitely cannot, Robert. I mean, how when there's a big giant sign at eye level that says "Do not push," and you continue to push a door, and you're wondering why you're stuck? I don't know. Yeah, Jay and her best friend came out to Vegas. It was the first time they've seen each other in about 7 years. Just was recently out here, and they're both huge Motley Crue fans. So we got tickets to Motley Crue. They went. They had a blast. Unfortunately, Tommy Lee did not pick up Jay. That's what she was hoping for. But what if you pull? There's no handles. I bet if we put a handle in there, somebody would try to pull it and stop it. I guarantee it. Maybe we could get like a little suction cup thing and do an experiment or something. Joe, I do that all the time. And you know what's funny is that I know that exit doors are supposed to, like, so when you're leaving a casino, the doors, you're supposed to push them to the out, right? To get out onto the street. That's a safety feature. I know that. But if there's a pull handle, my mind automatically goes to pull it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I do that all the time, and people laugh at me. Yes, Vegas is very smoke friendly. Although, you know, Park MGM, Vidara is another spot that there's no smoking inside. And there's no gambling at Vidara too. And that's all suites. So all the rooms there are suites at Vidara. That's like, the rooms are beautiful. Jennifer, yes. You know what? Maybe I'll try to go in there and get a video of them one time for you guys. The problem with the Shops of Crystals is there's absolutely no signal in there. Every once in a while we get lucky and we can walk through and get just a little bit of signal time. But if once you get off that main pathway, there's no signal. So, and a lot of times even out here where I'm walking now, the signal will drop. I don't know if it's just a lack of cell towers around this area or what it is, just all the big buildings. But yeah, it does mess with you in there, but they do still have them. And I think that they are getting ready to set up for their Christmas stuff. Their Christmas displays are usually really nice too. You know, I mean, not as nice as Bellagio, but maybe it is like the odd-shaped buildings with all the different curves that it bounces off and just doesn't take like a good relay. Yeah, I will try to get in there. Now, I'm not sure if they have a Wi-Fi in there. So they may have a Wi-Fi that I could jump on. If I could do that, then that would be no problem. But I did try to walk through there like about a month or so ago, and I got about 50 feet in the building and it froze. It actually froze so bad that I had to restart the whole entire live. So it's a nice little green space outside. In the summertime, there's a lot more plants in there. I don't know what they did with them, but I love all the desert scape out here. What are the best Christmas displays? The Bellagio is the best Christmas display, and then Wynn does really nice Christmas displays, but the Bellagio is definitely the biggest and prettiest. The Shops at Crystals is really nice. It's a little bit smaller, but it is really nice. So there's all the lighting stands. Now you can't cross. So it looks like they have some of Harmon shut down now to vehicle traffic from the Strip. So if you come down Harmon by the Cosmo, you can't cross over the Strip and keep going. That's blocked off. That's the bad part of the traffic this week, is that a lot of turnoffs on the Strip are being blocked for the F1 barricades and stuff like that. All right, I think when we get back over outside Miracle Mile, I think that's where we're gonna end the live over there for the day, so I can go do my stuff I got to do at my house. Can't be out here all day. I would love to, but my yard work isn't going to get done if I'm out here walking with you guys. So Ross here at the Shops at Crystals too. Not all the stores. Well, I guess this isn't technically in the Shops at Crystals, but right outside the Shops at Crystals, there's a Ross for us budget shoppers. Yeah, it's a great city, Mauricio.
I figured out.
Yes, this has been a really fun live, Mommy Maine. It's you know, we try to, like I said, we try to keep the engagement up, try to keep you guys talking. You know, that makes for a fun time for everyone. You know, get you guys answering your questions, so if you are coming out on a trip or something like that, you have some knowledge. Maybe find some new places. So that's, we're gonna walk past or walk through that. That's what they do to the pedestrian bridges. They'll put this up on one side over here so you can't see the race. But over here, that takes you from Cosmo over to Planet Hollywood. the whole pedestrian bridge gets blocked off, so you can't see the street, which I really can't stand, because one of my favorite things is, like, if I'm out here on a Friday night and there's like a huge amount of traffic on the strip, I love to take pictures from the pedestrian bridge of all the cars that are stuck on the strip in the traffic. So now for the next couple weeks, this is what you see when you're crossing over the strip from Cosmo to Planet Hollywood, from Caesars to the Cromwell, from Treasure Island to the Venetian. Those walkways that go over the strip blocked out on both sides. The walkways that go parallel to the strip will be blocked on the side that you can see the strip. So, Mauricio, there are not many spots that you can see the race for free. Up around the Wynn, you can catch glimpses of it. There's a big crowd that stands there. But there's not very many places that they don't have blocked off. F1 does not want you to see the race for free, so they are doing all that they can. They will have Metro up at the top of the escalators, moving people along so you can't stop and watch from up there. Yeah, there's really not that many spots that you get a good view. I mean, last year there was a couple streamers that found a spot that there was a somewhat decent view, and I think they were told to move relatively quick into their stream by Metro. So just very tough. Cheapest way to see it, any restaurant, anything like that has a view of F1 is going to be pricey. You may be able to find it somewhere at home and watch it on TV. Yeah, that's probably one of the best ways. So maybe replays. They even block off all the preliminary races. You can't really see from the strip either. So yeah, so you kind of just have to really kind of walk around the strip, and wherever you are when the cars are passing, hopefully you got a little bit of a sight line. Yeah, they don't want the congestion up and down the strip, and people are paying a lot of money. The people that are getting tickets at like the Heineken grandstands at Bellagio are paying like $9,000 for their tickets. So they don't want just anybody just going and being like, oh, I'm just going to stand here on the strip and watch for free. So I'm going to grab a water for the ride home. And then, so here it is, the Pure Life, 2 for $3. Yeah, you can't really get onto the old Mirage site. That's a construction site now. Oop, I'm about to drop this water.
Any snacks for you?
No, thank you. You have a great day too. All right, I lost track of the chat here. Yeah, the rooms on the strip that are facing the rooms. hotel rooms for F1 week are expensive. So I think we're going to start glitching in here in a minute. So you know what? I'm just going to end the live right now. Thank you guys for joining us. All the new people that are now chatters that subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing and supporting us. And I'm not sure if we're going to be back on later on tonight or not. But make sure you have your notifications set. Give us a follow on TikTok also. And we will see you guys on the next one. You guys have a great night. So appreciate you all.